Hello everybody, it's Mike Jones again with another OBS tutorial. This video we are going to take a look at the settings for OBS. If you watched my overview and tour video, we got a basic idea of the workspace. So now I want to talk to you about the settings for your device that you have this program running on, and how and what they mean and where to access them. So let's go ahead and let's just dive right into it, why don't we? Alright, so here is my PC. Here is my main screen, and I'm going to bring my OBS into it right here. We'll make it large, and what we're going to do is we're going to find your controls. Now again, yours may not be in the same area as mine due to the fact that I have custom placed these things into different positions, just like that. So you just need to find where it says settings, and when we click on that, we should get a brand new window. Alright, so let me actually do this. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to move my OBS out from the background, and we're going to bring that settings window here into the foreground. Okay, let's see if we can make this larger for everyone. I do apologize for the small text. Unfortunately, on HD monitors, these things can get a little bit small on the text. So if you have questions, please be sure to put them down in the comment section below, and I will try to answer those to the best of my ability. But anyway, what we're looking at here are our general settings. Set your language. You can set your theme. There are different color schemes. I personally prefer the dark over these others. Except for that one looks really good. But I use the dark because then it doesn't add extra light to my video from my program being a white screen, and it's a little bit easier on the eye. And then this would be system. I'm pretty sure this would be the system default. There we go. See how bright white it is? After a while, this tends to hurt my eyes, so I tend to go with some kind of darker scheme. Okay. Below theme, we have automatic check for updates on startup. I would definitely make sure that that is checked. The rest of these should be left alone as their normal defaults. There shouldn't be really anything that you need to mess with, unless if you see something, for instance, like show confirmation dialog when starting streams, show confirmation when stopping streams. So it's kind of like when you press the start button, it's like, are you sure you want to start? And it keeps you from making simple mistakes and having to redo things by accident. So I leave those two on, and what that does is that just makes sure that I stay safe in my button pressing. Of course, there's one more option. You can automatically record while streaming, but mostly these tutorials are not going to be for the streaming side of this, where you are doing something live. It's going to be for the recording aspect. So this is unchecked. So that takes care of our general settings page. Of course, look at these. Try some of these out if you are interested. If something looks like it sounds up your alley, go for it. For instance, like always make projectors always on top, hide cursor over projectors so you can't see your mouse when you're clicking or moving it across the screen. So if that's something you want to do, definitely just kind of play with it and have fun and see what looks good to you. Let's go to the next tab, which is over here on the left, and let me see if we can make this a little less confusing to see. There we go. So stream would be the next one. Stream is nothing that we need to worry about unless if you are live streaming. Currently, the network does not allow us for this live stream setup, at least without certain permissions. So we're going to skip over this because it's not important for what we hope to do in our classrooms, at least at this point. The output section now, this is where you have some more of your important settings, and some of these can be quite confusing. Always make sure, though, that your output mode is under advanced. Mine is grayed out, so I cannot do anything because I have settings set up here that will not allow me to go back to what is called simple mode. You have 4 tabs underneath that, one for streaming, one for recording, one for your audio, and one for a replay buffer. Streaming, again, we're going to skip over, but there are some settings for how your PC will record and send the digital information that you are putting together. But recording is where we're going to live. We're going to stay right in here, and because I'm recording, that's why a lot of this is also grayed out. But type, we're going to keep it standard. You can find the place that you would like for your videos to go to. I have it set for my hard drive folder called videos. And you can have it generate files without spaces, but that's not a necessary option. Now, recording format, though, is going to be one of those important things. So right here, when we click this, you're going to get options. Now, of course, I can't go in and change it, but some options work better than others for different platforms that you hope to put your videos on. I keep it at MP4 because the majority of all players, like video players, YouTube, websites, things that you might put your videos on, accept the MP4 format. So that's why I leave that alone and in that realm, because it's easier to work with. And though if you use MP4 or even MOV, there's this warning right here that anything saved to MP4 will be unrecoverable if the file cannot be finalized. Meaning, if the recording itself cannot go through the process, everything that you have done will be lost. So that is one of the dangers, but I have never had an issue with that setting. Your encoder, which is below audio tracks, which audio tracks we want to just leave that alone. And the encoder is basically what is going to be doing your like the work. What is going to be doing the work in your computer. So the encoder that I have set up for my computer here at home is called the NVENC, or NVENC is what people call it. This is a graphics card in a PC. If you are unsure if a graphics card is in your machine, or if you're using a laptop, you will not be using the NVENC encoder. You'll be using the CPU encoder, which is going to be called a 264. Okay, if you see 264, that kind of talks about your encoder. You see that it's also got it here on the NVENC, but because it's NVENC, we know that that's a graphics card. So whatever one does not have that, then you will use that for your encoding. And that's basically using your computer's CPU, which is the brain, to do all of the thinking and working. I wouldn't mess with this setting unless if you know that you have a graphics card that can help kind of divvy out the work throughout the machine and make it a little simpler to make everything. All right, the last bit of settings down here at the bottom are going to be fairly simple. We're going to leave a lot of things alone on the default, but we're going to use CBR for our rate control. Bitrate, okay, bitrate has to do with the speed at which your machine is collecting up all of this digital information. And I have it set for 5,000 kbps, or kilobytes per second. You're going to probably want to be between 2,000 and 3,000. The higher this is, the harder your computer works. If your computer does not have the resources or the ability to work that fast, then your videos will not come out very nice. The lower, though, you make your bitrate, the less quality they're going to seem. So you kind of have to find that balance between quality and consistency of the video. We're going to leave keyframe at 0, which is the auto. Okay, preset, I have it set for max quality. You can also set it for performance and so on, but max quality is what I want for a recorded video. So we're going to leave it there. Profiles, we want to leave it at high. Okay, there's no real need to understand main and baseline, but high is where you want to stay. And then these GPU and max B frames, let's leave those at whatever the program defaults already. All right. Looking into audio, you will see all these. You will not need to mess with this. Only recording is important to us out of the output tab. However, the audio tab does have some importance. You do want to make sure that if you have a headphones or a specialized microphone plugged into your system, that you want to go through and make sure that they have been selected. So my mic auxiliary audio, if I click this, I have different options. Okay, these are all different kinds of audio that my computer is pulling from. Well, this snowball, blue snowball, is actually the microphone that I'm using. That is what it is called. So I clicked on that for my mic, and now my preferred microphone is being used. Same thing for my desktop audio. That desktop audio mixer portion, can come from a lot of these things. For instance, my speakers, but I have it set to go from, okay, my headset, because I have a specialized USB headset, and that counts as my headphones. You can mess with these and make sure that they work, because the main idea here is that whatever I'm listening to on my headphones while I'm making the video, to make sure my sound sounds good, I don't want the microphone to also pick that up, because then it's going to be recorded twice. And then we get a really, really bad audio on our video. Okay, the rest of these settings will need to stay the same. Video is going to be important, but you're only going to need to really be concerned with your common frames per second. That's this last option. I'm currently set at 60 frames per second, which is about as fast as the eye can notice frames in a video going by. 30 to 60 frames is considered very good frames per second. Anything higher than that kind of gives that HD effect, and most machines that we'll be working with don't have the equipment within them to go much further than 30, 45, or maybe even 60 frames per second. So if you live within 30 to 60 and your videos come out looking good and your machine works properly, then you definitely want to keep this here. You want to stay within that zone. The rest of this, hotkeys, if you are somebody who likes to make hotkeys to make certain things occur, you can do that. And then our advanced, most of this you will not need to ever look at. These settings here are way more advanced. They're even more advanced than I care to dive into this. But once you've gone through your settings and you've clicked on what you prefer and everything looks good, you're going to hit the apply button here down at the bottom. Once you hit apply, then you can hit OK, and you are ready to go. The beauty of OBS, though, our system here, is that when you first log into it, you are going to go through what is called a wizard. Okay, so I wanted to come back for a moment and talk to you about this, because that wizard is extremely important. What that will do, it will ask you, do you want to go through and have it check your system and input the settings that should work great. And as you go through it, it will ask you questions. You will tell it if you want for performance or quality, and it'll give you options of what your machine is capable of doing. As you go through that, everything that I just showed you will pretty much be taken care of for you. So for your first video, you don't have to even mess with the settings at all, which is a great feature that they have, that walkthrough for new users. As you make your first few videos and you're like, oh man, I really wish it looked a little smoother, that's where you can start messing with your frames per second. Or if you don't like the resolution, it didn't come out to be very clear visually, then you can actually mess with some of your resolution pieces in that output tab. So there's lots of options, but you don't have to ever mess with them. All right. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for this little tour of the settings here in OBS. Let's take it back to the welcome screen, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this kind of enlightened you a little bit on what is going on in the settings section of this program. It can get very not difficult, it can get very complex. There's a lot of audio engineering and video engineering and computer engineering that goes into what this program can affect. So it's important to dive into the things that you do know, ask questions about the ones you don't, and one of the best places you can find some help would also be YouTube. There are many more people that know a lot more about these things than I do, especially those settings, and you can find those suggestions in the YouTube search bar. If you just type it in, OBS settings for recording, boom, listen to them, they show you some things, and guess what? You're rock and roll, ready to go. You now have some new knowledge you can put in. So at the same time, if you also have questions, you can drop them in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to try to answer any questions that I can clearly. And anyway, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I will see you all next time. Peace.